Hello, everyone, and welcome in. We're here for the 2023 Throwdown the Mountain 11, presented by Discraft and Sun King Disc. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Nate Perkins, and we've got this incredible feature card. Paul McBeth, Johnny McRae, Mr. Nate Perkins himself, and Florida's own Charlie Goodpasture. Nate, about a year ago, almost to the day, you and I were doing this same thing, so welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, Throwdown has become one of my favorite tournaments of the year, honestly. We are at a very special property about an hour north of Tampa Bay. There is an old quarry that they've turned into a gem of a disc golf course. And here we are, hole 1, 316. Plays closer to 350, I would say. A bit of a low ceiling off the tee, headed up the hill. And you don't want to go too deep or too right. Pretty steep drop off.
I wrote down the order: Paul, Charlie, Johnny, Nate.
And of course, the big news coming in just these last few days. Paul McBeth, co-owner now of the property, along with
Dylan Cease. And we got to give a shout out to Dylan. Thursday night before this tournament, Dylan started on the mound for the Chicago White Sox and pitched 6 1/3 innings with 10 strikeouts. And then the first thing he asked McBeth is, hey, when can we watch that coverage from Throwdown? So really cool that we've got one of the ace pitchers in the majors getting into disc golf enough to purchase this course with Paul. And I think we're going to be seeing a bit more of this course in the future.
certainly are. I know Florida and the rest of the country are excited about it. This man, of course, Johnny McRae, who's played here quite a few times. I've recorded him winning on this property here at Throwdown a number of years ago, right before he went on tour full time. Saw Charlie Goodpasture a moment ago. Johnny taking the Anheuser.
Okay, that disc has been in his bag now for 8 years, Terry. 8 years he's been throwing that exact same flag dyed mid.
I feel like that's the same one that we saw him ace with at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship in Jacksonville over at New World a few years ago.
It is.
I believe hole number 3 or so. And
Yeah, good memory.
And here you're throwing this shot, and the first thing you said this morning is, wait, I haven't seen this tee pad. And it's because last year we had to modify the course due to all the flooding that was taking place. So you're essentially playing a new tee pad, and now you're a little bit deep on your approach.
Yeah, some of these greens are they sneak up on you how fast they are. There's all these oak leaves that are just kind of matted down, and it's kind of like a ice skating rink. Like you'll slip on them, you'll lose your footing. We'll see that a few times in this video, and the disc, it just has no friction, and it'll just slide down these hills.
So McRae has a long look at birdie. This was more of a roll than a slide, but nonetheless, the hill comes into play. And that actually is going to take him quite a bit out of position. You see him down in the bottom right now, blending right in.
It's like where's Johnny?
Unfortunately, it's going to be Bogeyville for the first hole. And now, although not too far from the basket, you still have some obstruction.
Yeah, this is like, I would say, unmakeable from down in there. Paul's just watching all this unfold and tap in his park job with a force.
Beautiful Friday afternoon. You guys had a 2:20 tee time, so it's just a few minutes after that. Everything's been moving along pretty smoothly here during the opening round. As you said, Paul, with a easy tap in. And hole 1 is one that you'd typically expect most of our players to get or have a look at. So to see two of you guys go open up with bogeys is certainly a slow start. I mean, I guess that's an obvious statement, but just you don't expect to walk away from here with a bogey.
No, certainly not.
And see how everyone can adjust as we head over to hole number 2 and we get right to one of the par 4s that's out here.
Yeah, really tight tee shot here. There's a couple gaps. Most players are playing this left gap, maybe 12 feet across. And you want to start hyzering pretty early. It's easy to push this one too straight. Bends from right to left and then heads back up this hill. You can try and take that little trail up through the woods. Most players will just kind of throw into the trees and hope to plinko down to the pin. This tee shot is really crucial though.
Yeah, you see the what looks like a fairway to the right when really you're just taking a shortcut, more of a tunnel here, trying to push straight through. And even though it catches a few limbs, it still gets all the way through for McBath.
Yeah, prime time position right there.
It kind of gives you an idea of where they're ultimately trying to go, as you said, setting yourself up for one of the alleyways, and it's just a matter of which one are you going to pick.
Oh, and just a bit early from Charlie. And this tournament is a USDGC qualifier once again this year. Johnny overcorrects on Charlie's mistake, pulls it a bit right.
Yeah, some people looking to get that qualification done quick and early if they can, and here's a good place to do it. A few years ago, I think we had the Robinson brothers in a playoff for the USDGC spot that won a number of holes.
I'm happy with this release. I just straightened this driver out a bit too much, and that's not a great position to attack the green from. And neither is this.
Yeah, just that awkward footing, having to, that run up to try and somehow get up there, and he's going to come up short. He'll have to get a little tricky on the next shot. Pretty similar look here for a good pasture.
At this point, I think Charlie's kind of joking with himself.
All right, I got a good one in me. It's gonna come.
There we go. We heard it. He said, I got a good one in me, I promise.
And like you said, you just pushed too straight, and you actually took yourself out of position. And now you're just trying to set up for what would be a good third.
Yep. And the sun is just beaming down. I believe it was high 80s on this Friday afternoon. It started off with a little bit of breeze, which we really don't feel out here too often. Paul going Captain's Raptor, spike around the tall pine, and he's looking good after two.
Kind of playing the hole perfectly, so to speak, so far.
Yeah. I've always found it interesting about McBeth how casual he's able to remain throughout rounds. Like he will sit and chat with almost anybody while he's shredding the course. I know you've experienced that pretty often, Terry, with him.
Yeah, it's almost diabolical in a way of like, hey, are you not paying attention to what you're doing? Or if that's just a certain calmness that comes about as he's playing, maybe he's not as focused as throughout in between the shots, I guess. And like you said, yeah, can certainly keep a casual conversation going with just about anybody about anything. As you have a nice forehand, that'll give you a look to save your par. Charlie doesn't even really have a look here for par, so he's just going to be pitching up and around.
So Johnny nearly rolls it under the barbed wire fence. He takes his 2 meters, looks over at Paul and I, and asks if he's good. Paul says, hey, you don't have to take your 2 meters. And Johnny said, well, it left me with the line.
Led me to the right hole.
Called, yeah. Perfectly sets himself up. Again, most of the time, 1 meter is the relief you get, but barbed wire's up to 2.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, I guess you'd say that led him to the right hole.
And that is the putt of the day. I would be surprised if it doesn't stay that way. 50-footer, like low ceiling, kind of a death putt.
Here you are obstructed for the second time in a row.
Yeah,
that
we
looked
just
good.
yeah, we just can't start bogey. Little left side, but good pace. Get it to stick, and this is Paul for 2 for 2 start.
So far, making it look pretty easy. Charlie's going to step up and walk away with a bogey, so he'll move to 1 over.
All right, hole 3. You've got that barbed wire fence on the right. Another kind of tight tee shot. Blind headed down this hill. Ideal landing zone is right here on this road. It's easy to go too straight and easy to hyzer too early, and then you've got a blind approach to the green with another barbed wire fence on the right side of that fairway. And Paul's actually going buzz here, and he just flattens this one out a bit. And that's headed too straight, and it's likely just a pitch out from there.
Yeah, sometimes you land on the hillside, and as Ellen Whitboom called it, sometimes you got to act like a mountain goat to climb onto that hillside and throw from there. I think I'd rather go too straight than too short. If you come up too short and you don't make the corner, you're for sure going to, exhaust a stroke just to get around it.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny sets himself in a pretty good position. He'd love an extra 10 or 20 feet, but he'll take that. It'll give him at least a chance.
And you got to love watching Johnny. There's no, cuts on that throw. He really is playing that fast. I mean, he's got his disc in his hand. He only uses about half the pad, a little hop, a turn of the hips, and he's ready to fire.
Yeah, he steps up and goes. And now we're seeing you throw some new plastic. What does that all involve in terms of what you're throwing? Are you exclusive to a brand, a specific brand? Are you throwing something exclusive, or is your bag a little bit mixed?
Yeah, so I'm throwing a mixed bag right now. I'm primarily sponsored by Clash Discs out of Finland, as well as RPM Discs out of New Zealand, and they are allowing me to take my time transitioning my bag. I've been, throwing Discmania for 7 years now, so they are gracious in allowing me to, take my time, and I'm very thankful for that because some of these molds have been in my bag for forever. So
Yeah, and obviously you'll be able to find everything eventually to get them all swapped out and replaced.
yeah, it's a lot of fun throwing new discs though.
Gives you probably a newfound excitement and maybe a little bit additional drive and dedication to the game when you're out here knowing you have to be learning what these discs are doing and feeling how they fit your game.
Yeah, and we saw both Paul and Charlie lay up, and here's Johnny going mountain goat on it.
Yeah, and this is the challenge. No matter how good the throw is, I mean, even if you could go out there and just place your drive literally on any spot in this fairway, you're still going to have some kind of awkward stance or run up. There's just not truly a perfect place. But McRae makes the standstill work as he's going to have a birdie look. And you're just a few feet from where he was, right?
Yep, very similar. His lie was a little more challenging. I'm really just looking to follow his line, and
Yeah, and as you can see, you're trying to establish your footing.
I just got to generate that spin with the upper body.
And that'll give you a look from inside the circle. So Macbeth with his third. And really nothing you can do to be aggressive there. He's just going to pitch it up, trying to walk away with the easy par, and Charlie's hoping to do the same.
Thank you. Thank you for not rolling down the mountain.
And there you go. Trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
From bogey to par, now to birdie. I like that.
Yeah, definitely
Move.
feels good considering the nerves that are still present on the putting green. I don't know how there's still this many nerves after a decade of competition now.
All these years and still nervous, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but
I think they say that means you still care and you love the game.
yeah.
We see a different putting stance out of you, though, or a different release out of you from what we've seen in years past. You're more of that, almost that hyzer pitch of sorts.
Yeah.
What prompted that?
Just pulling right too often, trying to get the left shoulder back and turn the hips, kind of seeing players like Gannon Burr, whose hips are almost completely left or even backwards, so just trying to, work a different stance in. And hole 4 is just a daunting par 3. This initial gap is very scary. If you pull it or hit that middle tree, it's tough to get up and down. And Johnny punches forward on that right line. And that's a 45-footer up the hill. And I'm kind of just playing this one for par, trying to go forehand on the left side and just get some straight ground play. A little low, but it's in a good spot.
And maybe no surprise, this is usually one of the least birdied holes on the course. And Macbeth pulls that right, gets hard wood.
Yeah, his back foot kind of slipped out from behind him. That's one of the challenges here at Throwdown is the footing, on the tee pad and in the fairway. Pretty unpredictable.
And a solid shot there for Goodpasture, straight up the middle.
And there it is, Terry.
Wow.
The oak leaves that you could really see his back foot slip there, and he releases it early, and he's in a terrible spot. He's going flippy force into the green, misses the oak tree, and skips up there, hangs onto the cliff side. He's got a putt for 4.
Wow, just the fact that he was so close to the canopy there, and that could have dropped him down, leaving him with a 50 or 60 footer, and somehow just barely sneaks underneath it. And you're going to put yourself to about pin high there. So McRae, deep in circle 2 here, uphill putt. Of course, danger with the rollaway.
Wow.
Nice.
And Johnny's has a unique style of putting from the circle too. Not often do you see someone open the right hip up. Johnny's left foot is actually in front, and just not something you see in another player that putts like that is Jake Hebenheimer with that
The horseshoe.
the horseshoe pitch. But yeah, Johnny's unique in that setup.
So a great birdie. I'll check the stats because I can't imagine there were many on the day. Goodpasture with his chance, and that's going to be off the top. So even though he has a good drive, he's not able to take advantage of it. And now Macbeth still has work to do, and this is for bogey.
Yeah, for 4.
And look at the awkwardness of that stance, just with his knee. And he pulls through, and
yeah.
he's going to ultimately put it in, but he had to work hard just to get the bogey.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, checking the stats, 3 birdies so far here that we're seeing on hole number 4. And just doesn't look like you're comfortable, really. Is that a good statement or no?
Yeah, had a weird footing on the first putt, and then, I feel like your confidence gets shaken a little bit, and then next thing you know, you're tapping in for a double bogey, and it stings.
We head over to hole number 5. This is a blind one, isn't it?
Yeah, another blind hyzer. This is actually the first hole that Paul said, yeah, it's gone. 375 feet, downhill, right to left. You kind of have to push this back wall and really filter through the guardian tree. And you never know. I mean, that is a really good line and a very common result, hitting those branches and dropping down to about 45 feet.
I feel like this tee shot, as well as the next hole that we see, you're just kind of blindly throwing to an area. And then, like you said, there's going to be some degree of filtering that needs to happen here on 5. And Charlie, a much lower route,
Yeah,
but
and
still will have a look.
he it looked like he didn't even hit the tree. He just kind of stuck right there at 45 feet. And there's that same result. Headed straight for the pin and then hits the tree and drops down to 45, and right next to Johnny. Just really stoked how that one came out of the hand, and that one right through the tree to parked.
Wow.
That's the play.
I guess so. We'll take it. You can have a look. Here's good pasture.
And I think
Outside.
he's feeling a little frustration at this point. He's still not on the board with a birdie.
The stepper. McRae. Wow, what a putt. And I believe that's also a turkey. I think he's gotten holes 3, 4, and 5.
Pretty impressive. After the bogey start, he's 2 under through 5, and 2 just really clean circle 2 putts right there.
Macbeth almost the exact same distance. And he answers. Looks like we're going to have a good old-fashioned putt off here. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt Paul has to feel a little bit extra when Johnny makes it right in front of him.
Plenty of jokes and rumors flying around as well, as people showing up saying, oh, he's the new course owner or the new property owner. And, is he the guy that we have to answer to? Mike Barnett, Sun King, of course, still holding things down. They've been leasing the property for many years, and all of this excitement is still part of it as we still have the tournament weekend here. And Macbeth and Dylan will come in and do their thing soon enough, that's for sure, as we look at hole 6. And this is just an absolutely great disc golf hole, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Terry. I don't think this one's going anywhere. Another blind hyzer, pretty similar tee shot to the previous hole. You might want to get this one a little bit higher, maybe throw it a little harder. One thing you do not want to do is throw it inside here on this hole. It is gnarly in there. There's this sawgrass, which is, it's tough to find your disc. It's tough to get in there and play from it, and it'll cut you up.
Yeah, and we've seen them expand the fairway as we just pan to the basket there. The fairway has gotten wider throughout the years. We'll see just how wide they want to keep it and how punishing they want this hole to be off of this tee shot. And you're just really, like you said, throwing to an area, hoping you find the short grass. And a few players will have a forehand line to the basket, and some will take the backhand into the protected green. And you guys are kind of gauging the quality of the shot by the response you're getting right now from the gallery that's down there, and it seems a little mixed reaction.
Yeah, there was almost no clapping to be had, at first, and Paul and I were just kind of joking about it. He said he got one clap, so it must be a perfect shot. And the crowd actually liked that shot.
Yeah, really, anytime you're finding the short grass, is always going to be a huge advantage here, like you said, because otherwise you're probably cutting up your legs trying to get a good stance. And Charlie also finds the short grass, so pretty solid shot.
Yeah, I really like Charlie's late turn of the shoulders. I think that it's a really nice feature he has in his throw, and one of the reasons why he's been 1,000 rated for so long. Loose reach back is what I like to teach in my private lessons.
Yeah, and are those things that you feel like come naturally? Something that Charlie either picked up. Obviously, he's had some influence from Ken Climo, the champ. But Are those things that you feel like just somebody just naturally does?
Yeah, some people have it natural, and then some people, they struggle turning their body away from the target. So, yeah, just get that left shoulder back, keep that arm loose, turn it into a whip, and that's just a beautiful turnover. See if Charlie can match that line.
Yeah, as you guys can see, this is entirely blind into the green here from where they're throwing from. So it's just a lot of trust just to get the right angle on it to make sure that it's fading in. And you can be aggressive because you have the backstop here on this green if you can get all the way up to it, as Charlie just barely misses to the right.
And the way his putt comes into sometimes with that right side, it'll be in the basket and just kind of pop out because it's on such steep hyzer, and that's really unfortunate because he kind of hit that sawgrass and kicked back down the hill.
And a nice putting stroke there for you, no problems.
Yeah,
Solid birdie.
I felt a bit more relaxed on that one, and you can kind of see it in the body language. And
Macbeth will make light work of it.
nice 20-footer. And Johnny's bullseye for 4 in a row.
Like you said, yeah, a little bit of a slow start picking up the bogey on the first hole, but since then has been picking up plenty of birdies. We see both, and nobody's mad. You're sitting 3 down through 6. You're not mad, no matter how you got there. You're not mad with that score right now. And big shout out to our friends at the Players Meeting. Head on over to their page, hit the subscribe button, and they'll send you an email that keeps you up to date with everything going on in disc golf as they continue to put out articles week after week, or more than one article a week, in fact. So that keeps you all up to speed in disc golf. As hole 7's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, dead
100
straight.
meters.
Yep. It's right in between that mid and fairway distance for a lot of players, and you really can't go too deep on this one. As you can see, those trees right behind the pin. Has a little bit of a left to right slope here on the green, and yeah, you've got to control this shot the whole way.
Yeah, it feels like the play is you want to come in short because you're almost inevitably getting a skip or a slide or both or a roll, as we even just saw by McRae. You want to come in somewhat short of this pin because you don't want to be deep, as you said.
And that was an Athena for Paul, and yeah, kind of unfortunate to fully climb the hill there. Normally you'll see him kind of hit and roll out toward the green, but he's got a pretty obstructed putt there. And I'm having a tough time letting go of the night strike. This is
your signature disc for quite some time, as that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I can understand why. It looks like you have full control of that one. We'll see how obstructed you are on the putt.
And Charlie's really got to get something going here. I mean, he's 1 over through 6 with no birdies. Good looking shot and just getting slammed by the wind. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's some of the most wind that we've felt really the entire round, and it came at an inopportune time to push it down. Now, these can be dangerous putts because if you go deep, you're going to be obstructed, and if you hit anything, there's a really good chance it could roll. But Charlie says, yes, I'm going to finally put that first birdie on my scorecard. Charlie had said that I was inaccurate in guessing Justin Bieber was on his playlist. So he said he wouldn't tell me what it is and that I'd have to continue to guess as to what he's listening to during the round. Do you have any possible guesses what Charlie might be listening to?
Charlie's probably listening to a podcast. And honestly, Charlie's probably listening to the Brody Smith, Paul Ulibarri interview of King Climo. I know that Charlie's kind of a buddy of the champ.
Real good friends with Climo. I know he's traveled around quite a bit, has played with him. probably stays in touch with him more than most of our disc golf community does. Of course, not living too far from him, and good call. He probably is listening. The question is, I listen to most things in like double speed or 1.5. Is Charlie listening to it in like half speed just to really take it in?
And I'm just so bummed about the lie right there. I'm 15 feet away, and it was really tough to make, but I could have made it, and I pulled it. And here's Johnny from 18 feet, also a tough lie, and he gets it done.
Yeah, I will admit I trimmed a little bit of time off of McCrae trying to get his into position for his lie
Okay.
there. Not far from the basket, but definitely obstructed and challenging for him. And now you've got a comebacker. You're going to go to a knee. Not really any obstruction, but you can see that the sawgrass is still messing with you, that bush there.
Yeah, it's pretty much a tap in. It's just weird footing, and we've just completely lost the putt here, Terry.
That's got to be frustrating. I know you had some success over in New Zealand not too long ago, and coming out here to this beautiful property, it's always a little bit frustrating to not have it all together or be dialed in for it. And we're going to head over to hole number 8. This is a little bit of a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, what a sweet par 3. Bit of a backup here. You kind of have to expect to wait to tee off on this one, and yeah, it's 430 feet downhill. It's not really the distance that's the issue. It's more the shape. You have to shape this one from left to right. This is Grace from Johnny. Great looking angle, and he's circle's edge right there up the hill.
Yeah, pretty much anytime you have a look at this, you're going to be happy with it. Yeah, if that can just get up, or you like the angle, but it needed to get up a little bit more. The tad on the inside.
I think Paul's going flippy force here.
And one of the newer things we've seen on this hole in the last few years is the addition of the left side OB line. So there is something to be conscious of. It used to be like anywhere it went, it wasn't a big deal. You probably would have a difficult approach. And now if you don't turn something over enough with the righty backhand shot, you're in threat of going into 18's kind of landing zone, which is actually out of bounds. Uh-oh. Looks like you mean business. You've removed the hat. Is
Yeah.
that intentional, or is that just part of the backup?
I was just hot from
Okay.
when you get a bogey, you just start heating up.
Yeah.
It's
Internally, right?
yeah, it was turning me.
And you must not have had anything. I mean, that's a good pitch to even get there, but that is really pinched off on that bottom corner, isn't it?
Yeah, it was an unfortunate little roll, and then another unfortunate roll to put myself at 38 feet, and you can see this is pretty unfortunate lie right here. And this is probably 45 feet uphill. Almost no wind right now.
We'll be playing closer to 55 feet with elevation, or at least the power required. Not a problem.
That is in the heart. I mean, a good tee shot, little love off the tree, but that's really the separator right there, Terry, is he's making the majority of those at this point.
This is for par.
And I felt pretty good about that release, and still thought I made it until it found the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked pretty good. Now McCrae, who's currently riding the Good vibes, so many birdies, and that one is surprising just with how successful we've seen him with his putting. I mean, he's been making everything from basically long and short range, so surprising to see him not connect on that. And Charlie's short. Made mention of the baskets. I'm not sure if he's just hitting basket or if there's something that he doesn't find adequate about the basket, but McRae, on the other hand, has no problems. In fact, I think he's just gonna show off a little bit. The elder man has tricks. I'll put it that way. And speaking of tricks, big shout out to our friends over at Swarm. They want to make sure that you have a great website. They help with the SEO. So if you need any help having people find your website, they can do that. Design, logo, all of that stuff, maintenance, they can help you out. So make sure you reach out because they're supporting the coverage and we want to support them. And here we are on the spine of 9. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. It doesn't matter to anyone else, but this is my least favorite hole on the course. And it's just because it's so difficult.
It's really difficult, very dangerous. I like that, the spine of 9. And Paul, great looking tee shot, and just gets one of those ghost limbs hanging down.
Wow, and that pushes all the way forward, and he's looking for a little reverse skip, and he gets it. How do you call that from 400 feet away? Reverse skip?
Yeah,
Seemed to work for him.
it did work, and it leaves him with a decision to be had. 45 feet, looking right at the hill, and just a pure tee shot from Charlie.
Thanks.
38-foot uphill putt for a 2. Rare 2.
If Charlie sponsored the coverage, I'd say that was a pure line shot, but we'll throw it out to him anyway. And I feel like that's a misfire that almost is going to work out for you, isn't it?
Yeah, very fortunate ground play there, and yeah, you don't want to hit early on this hole. And this is just an unfortunate lie he has here after a pretty clean release. You'd never want to be throwing hyzer into the hill, and you can see why right there. And it was almost done
goodness.
moving, and it is headed for the road. And fortunate to actually check up right at the barbed wire fence.
Yeah, barbed wire fence being out of bounds. So had he gone through that, that would have been another stroke added. And I think he's going to be obstructed from down there as we're watching you just pitch out. And really, you're not mad with a 3 here. Is that a fair statement?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a really rare 2, and it's a quick bogey.
This is playing as the second most difficult hole on the course. So me not liking it, yeah, that checks out if it's that tough.
Oh, man. Right side on hyzer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, his putter has been on, and the fact that he gave it that solid of a bid. Oh, left side. Charlie gets that one to drop. One of only 4 birdies on the round. So back on hole 4, we talked about the rarity there. There was only 3. McRae had got one. Here on 9, just 4 birdies. Charlie got one. So we've seen 25% of the birdies here this weekend on 9 so far. You'll tap in for the par. And we're about to tap out. Like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube things. Nate, we're through 9. A little bit of a rough go, but plenty of action coming up on the backside, right?
Yeah, this is solid coverage as always, Terry. I'm happy to be here in the booth with you, and happy to be here in Florida regardless of how the result is.
All right. Nate's going to take his 2 over par. We're going to see if that gets adjusted as we head into the final 9 of the first round. Johnny McCrae does have the hottest round going of all players.
Oh, wow.
You're right here for all the action, folks. We'll see you guys in the back 9 at Throwdown the Mountain 11.